オレンジジャムにバターと蜂蜜、あとシナモンもかけちゃおう。最強のパンができちまったぜ。
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Chainsaw Man Episode 1 and Episode 2. I was going to do Episode 1 last week, and I kind of had some audio issues, so I had to scrap that episode, and I thought I'd just combine this week's episode and last week's episode together into one. Episode 1, I thought, was a great intro to the Chainsaw Man series. We first meet Denji, Pachia, and Makima in episode 1, and I think their character introductions were pretty good. I could sit there and watch Pachia probably eat bread all day long, really. Absolutely adorable. The intro to it is very interesting because actually what's playing right behind me, they do a lot of movie references to it. So it's all just littered with just movie reference like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, No Country for Old Men, Jacob's Ladder, maybe Fight Club. I don't know. The author, I think, is like a huge like movie fan. Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. I love movies, so I thought this was an awesome intro. Well, if you're a manga reader, you're gonna notice a lot of stuff that they're foreshadowing in this, so I wouldn't look too hard into it, just so you don't try to get any spoilers. But this show, yeah, I think this is like stacks and stacks and stacks of like just references to later on throughout the series. So I thought the intro was very interesting. I guarantee you though, when we get the second intro, it's probably gonna be a lot darker. Just saying, this is a pretty dark series. The animation wise for the show, I think Mappa did a really good job with it. They kind of, I was kind of worried a little bit about them, how they're gonna handle the CGI throughout the show. And I think they fuse the CGI and the 2D fairly well, where it's not too noticeable. Typically when studios do like CGI, it sticks out so hard against like a 2D background or anything like that that it's very noticeable. But the way they've done the 2D is they've kind of matched it to 3D a little bit. Like it just mixes well together, so it's not jarring once they switch over into like some kind of fight heavy sequence. And I'm assuming that's why they wanted to do something like this, is because a lot of anime nowadays is kind of moving towards that CGI kind of capture. It's just faster and easier to produce. So, but it kind of sucks because like the way of 2D is kind of going out the window anyway. But I think this is a good fusion, and I think this is probably one of the most proper ways to do it, rather than just doing like, you know, the 2016 Berserk. I trust Mappa. So one really weird thing I saw at the end of the episode, so there's a huge fight sequence at the end of the episode. I noticed when I watched it on my TV, so I streamed on my PS5 on my TV in the living room. Some of the animation, there's one part in the animation where he turns into Chainsaw Man. I kind of get that 2D stutter, but when I rewatched the first episode on my screen on my computer, that's a 4K screen, but it's like 280 hertz or something like that. So it's like very smooth, and I'd never picked up those fragments. I never looked choppy. Like the frame rate looked fine. So I don't know if that's just my computer just kind of making up with that, or it was just streaming on the first day or whatever. I don't know. If you guys have any like suggestions on like why that's happening, or if you notice that, like if you have like if you watch it on your computer and you didn't notice any like choppiness, or if you did notice the choppiness, let me know in the comments. Because that's a really interesting thing that I found. I don't know why. Kind of want to know. I kind of want to watch both episodes. I don't want to watch like you know, watch it in my living room and then watch it on my computer just to see if I can keep catching stuff like that. The second, on my computer, everything looked amazing. I mean, like it didn't bother me at one bit. Episode 2, I think episode 2 is probably a lot better pace than episode 1. The episode 1, they went pretty slow, and I'm assuming they're kind of gonna try to run or kind of hold this series, kind of like slow it down just a tad. I guess they just don't want to try to animate too many episodes. I'm kind of curious if they're going to do 12 episodes or 24. I'm not 100% sure if that's even been confirmed yet. Episode 2 felt like it went a lot faster than episode 1. In episode 2, we get introduced to Aki and Power. And while I'm talking about Aki, I hope to God he can beat them Sasuke clone allegations. Please do not compare him to Sasuke. Please, God. I can already see it written on the walls. That was also a great, I think episode 2 is a lot better episode than episode 1, but just because it's just a lot more is going on. But yeah, I think episode 2 so far has been pretty good. Again, with the animations, there was one part where I did notice that like the animation kind of got a little bit weird when Denji is like, he says, I think wolf, because Makima asks him something and then he goes like wolf, and then I know the animation got like a little bit weird right there. Overall, that was the only thing I could really nitpick out of it. Yeah, I think episode 2, the anime overall is like beautiful. I think Mappa really knows what they're doing with this, so I really trust them. I think with the CGI and everything that they're just probably like, I think there's so much fight sequence going to be happening that they had to fuse it in a way. But Aki introduced, and then just already between Aki and Denji's chemistry is amazing. Power and Denji's chemistry is going to be, it's not really shown yet, because they kind of just met towards the end. I think their chemistry, I think is really going to flourish, and you're really going to see a lot of, they're definitely going to be the next big like 3 main protagonists. But that's just because I'm kind of going from a manga perspective. One thing that they did kind of change up a little bit from a manga, which I also saw this on Twitter as like as a joke, is like when Denji's in the bath and he's in the manga, he's like tapping the side of the bathtub, and he's like talking about like a union job and everything, and he's like more pay or whatever. And then in the anime that they actually changed it up where he's just singing like a little tune, and someone said Mappa changed that scene so none of the animators at Mappa Google what union jobs are. So I thought that was pretty funny. Overall, if I had to give a rating for episode 1, I'd probably say it's like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. And episode 2 was great. I think it had great intros for all the characters. We explained more on like Makima, and then kind of like Denji as a character. Also, super happy to see the bread get animated finally, like where he takes like all this jam and butter and shit and just pours all over toast. And I remember seeing it in the manga, and I was like, man, I wonder what that's gonna look like animated, because it just looked like a mess, but it looked pretty good the way Mappa handled it with all the lighting. Also, before I go and everything, I just want to talk about the lighting in this show is just absolutely amazing. I think they just, I don't know what it is. I guess, I don't know if it's like a shell shading and then the 2D and the backgrounds and everything, but it looks really unique and fun. Like, I love the lighting. And then closing off the ending song for it, I love the animation, what they did. Whatever they did for the ending song looks amazing. It looks a lot of like, it reminds me of like a lot of art you would see on Twitter and stuff, and then it looks like almost like fan art. I personally enjoyed it, and I think I really like the song too. So I just wanted to make a quick video for you guys, just covering base. Let me know what you guys think. Or how hype are you guys for the Chainsaw Man anime? Is this the first time you guys are viewing this, or are you a manga reader too? I want to know, so let me guys know, and I guess I'll see you guys next week. Take you later.